All right, I'm back because I turned the screencast off too fast and I had more to do. So I'll try to make this fast. I want to show you a couple of examples. All right, boys and girls, take a look here. These again, remember, these are called inheritance patterns. There are three panels to describe inheritance pattern. The pictures, you've got that one there, you've got this one here. I like my notes better, but this one works. This one works as well. All right, as we described in the mains part of the screencast. Here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to actually go over a couple of examples with you here. All right, so this one shows just autosomal. All right, recessive or dominant. I'm going to shut my mouth. Maybe you can pause the screencast. Can you pick out which one is autosomal recessive and autosomal dominance and give me proof? And how do you know? 3 seconds. That was your time to pause the screencast. All right, so the one on the left, number 13, is an autosomal recessive. How do you know? Because if affected children, as indicated in 2.2, have two unaffected parents, there is no way that it could be a dominant trait. No way. All right? So heterozygous, homozygous, recessive. Let's take a look at the one on the right. Now, I don't love the one on the right because if you do and think of this in a different way, it could technically, more than technically, still show a common recessive order, or disorder. So we're going to go with. All right, so notice this is going to be your dominant pattern here. All right, take a look. And in a dominant pattern, the male here is, again, homozygous recessive because the dominant gene is the affected. So homozygous dominant and heterozygous. Now, you really can't tell what the mother is here. She can be either. But because he only has, and she has to contribute a dominant gene, both children, all right, must be heterozygous. So every affected child has at least one affected parent. That is what qualifies a dominant trait. One affected parent, all right? Affected, one affected parent, two unaffected parents. So that's one clue to look at it. You got to look for clues here. So you'll see that on the notes, all right? If we go to the sex link, which I have one for that, and we'll bring that up as well, all right? So I'm going to be quiet 3 seconds. Which one is dominant? Which one is pause the screencast now? Okay, we're back. All right, so again, like the one on top, if it's X-linked recessive disorder, the one thing I want you to remember again is the male only has one gene and can't be heterozygote. All right, so the one on the left is a X-linked recessive disease or disorder, and it must be recessive because the affected, all right, the affected, in this case here, this person right here, the affected has a daughter, all right, who does not have it. All right, so let's take a look here. So if he's affected here, and that would be X-linked X, lowercase r, Y, and we don't care what the mother is as long as she has a dominant gene. She could be heterozygous or homozygous dominant. All right. Here, she is going to be heterozygous. So dominant gene, recessive gene, heterozygous. We look up here, mother is affected, right? Mother is affected, lowercase, lowercase. Son must be affected because if the mother is affected, right? Here's a real big clue for you here. And only has a recessive gene, the son must get the recessive gene from its mother. The son gets the X chromosome from its mom, all right? And then the Y. So that's even a bigger clue than the one I named at the beginning. Mother affected, son must be affected. Sex-linked recessive. Let's look at the one on the right. The one on the right, again, remember, the sex-linked dominant trait, all right, dominant trait. If it's a male and he's affected here, one capital letter, letter R, whatever letter you want, and she's not affected. So take a look. Let's go down. That would mean the children here from this one here. All right, father is affected, daughter must be affected. It's opposite of this one here. All right, affected father. All right, let's look at the son. Father is affected, son unaffected. All right, so notice it seems to be father and daughter. All right, and remember homozygous because she can still be heterozygous here and affected. All right, and affected. So Unaffected means all sons will be unaffected in a sex-linked dominant. If the mother is unaffected, you cannot have unaffected son. And those are just some clues to work through as you work through this.